Chapter 11. The Call of the Sorcerer Morgath. The palace of King Arganthos was never completely quiet, for the thick walls, the armed guards, and the incessant footsteps of the servants always kept a murmur of life. But that morning, a disturbing rumor penetrated like a cold wind through the corridors. A guard, pale and restless, appeared before the king, knelt down, and in a low voice, said what should never have been said. "Great king, from the room of Princess Zarephina last night whispers were heard, and even the voice of a man." These words fell upon Arganthos like a sword blow. His face darkened, his eyebrows furrowed, and his grey eyes burned with the fire of anger. Zarephina, his daughter, the princess whom he guarded with the jealousy of a sovereign, and how could a ruthless father dare to receive someone in secret? The thought unsettled him even more because it was not an ordinary one, but a dangerous one. What man could enter her room without anyone's knowledge? Arganthos was a prudent king, but also suspicious by nature. He knew that the walls of the palace concealed not only loyalty, but also unseen dangers. He could not ignore what he had learned. With a cold and determined voice, he ordered, "Bring Morgath." This name made the air in the hall tremble. The wizard Morgath was feared and respected alike. Bearer of secrets, knowledgeable of forbidden arts, he was the one the king called upon only when the shadows seemed deeper than the day. Morgath was no mere servant, but a dangerous ally, shrouded in an aura of mystery, whom some considered almost more powerful than the throne's advisors. When the wizard entered, the room seemed to cool. His long white hair shone like dull silver, and his black eyes seemed like two bottomless abysses. He bowed before the king, but without civility. He always maintained that distance that reminded everyone that his power was not worldly, but born from another realm. "Morgath," Arganthos said, "shadows have crept into my palace." Voices were heard in the princess's room in the middle of the night. Man entered there, without the guards knowing. "Investigate and tell me the truth." The wizard slowly raised his gaze, and a faint smile stretched the corners of his lips. Not from joy, but from the satisfaction of the one who felt that the intrigue was deepening. "The truth, your majesty, is not easily discovered. But I have my means." Morgath asked to be taken to the princess and Zarephina's room. The pale morning light enveloped her restless face. When she saw the wizard, she flinched. His presence had something oppressive, like a shadow crushing the surrounding air. However, she maintained her dignity, looking at him with her large blue eyes, which hid the turmoil of her heart. "Princess," Morgath said in a low voice, almost a whisper, "nothing happens in this palace without leaving a trace. Tell me, what secret are you hiding?" Zarephina felt her heart stop for a moment. How could she admit it? How could she tell the truth, when her love for 𝕽𝖎𝖕𝖕𝖊𝖙 had to be hidden at all costs? She gathered her strength and answered, "I am hiding nothing, Master Morgath. Last night I was alone. Perhaps the wind made it seem like someone was talking." The wizard reached out his bony hand and touched the edge of the bed lightly. He felt the vibration of the place, as if listening to the traces left in the fabric of the air. His eyes narrowed, a sign that he was not entirely convinced. "Maybe," he murmured, leaving the sentence unfinished. He withdrew without insisting, but the glint of suspicion remained in his gaze. He knew that the princess was hiding something, and his instinct was rarely wrong. In her absence, Morgath returned to the door of the room. He took out of a small bag a shining powder, fine as golden sand, which he scattered in an invisible circle. The powder had the power to retain the traces of those who crossed the threshold, even those unseen. It was an old trick of his. Magic, meant to reveal the truths that people wanted to hide. After that, the wizard withdrew to his own room. Morgath's room was a world in itself. Books with dark leather covers, bottles of liquids of strange colors, animal skulls, parchments covered with ancient signs, and, in the center of the room, a mirror huge, framed with scrap iron and the runes of time. This was the enchanted mirror, the tool through which Morgath could see what mortal eyes could not capture. He approached it and uttered a few incantations in a long-forgotten language. The mirror stirred like water touched by the wind and slowly began to show him shadows. He saw the door to Zarephina's room. He saw how the magic dust glowed faintly, and then the unseen silhouette of someone entered the room. Morgath frowned. He could not see the man's face. The magic of 𝕽𝖎𝖕𝖕𝖊𝖏 ring was too strong, masking his identity even from the wizard's eyes. All that remained were the footprints on the magic dust, which betrayed his presence. Heavy, sure. Steps of a man who knew what he was doing. The mirror showed him only the entrance, not what had happened inside. The power of the ring was like a curtain that fell across the room, hiding the event. The spirits of any gaze, be it human or magical. Morgath felt a bitter frustration. He had rarely encountered a spell that confronted him so directly. Time passed, and he patiently watched the mirror. For a whole hour, the steps of the unknown remained in the room. What could have happened there? What connection was there between this stranger and the princess? The questions burned in his mind like a consuming fire. Finally, the footsteps reappeared, leaving the room. The traces slowly faded on the magical dust, a sign that the unseen visitor had left the place. Morgath let his gaze slide back to the mirror, but it revealed nothing to him. All he knew was that a man had entered and exited, leaving no trace but his mysterious footsteps. The wizard remained silent for a long time, his hands clasped behind his back. Troubled thoughts swarmed in his mind. Who was this unknown person? What power did he have that he could hide the truth even from his mirror? And, above all, what secret connections did he have with Princess Zarephina? He stood up and said to himself, in a deep voice, "He is no mere mortal." Whoever he was, he possessed a grace or power beyond nature. Morgath knew he had to be careful. Such secrets should not be told to anyone, not even the king, without clear evidence. However, doubt had taken root in his soul. He felt that the game that was being played within the palace walls would bring dangers not only for the princess, but for the entire reign of Arganthos. He let his hand slide across the cold surface of the mirror and spoke slowly, as if to himself. The shadows have begun to move. The truth is near, but not yet. And in that moment, Morgath understood that he was no longer just a witness. He was already part of a greater intrigue than he had imagined, an intrigue in which love, power, and magic would collide, leaving behind only one truth.